Hey, I'm Carla.
I'm Heidi.
And we're the Butcher Babies. Listen to toxicradio.net.
Don't play it safe. Play it toxic.
Hey guys, dating life gone pretty shitty?
I find you so creepy I think you should have to walk around with a bell around your neck.
Finding yourself getting a little desperate for some female companionship?
Alexa, tell me you love me.
Hell no. You disgust me.
What you need is to upgrade your style right now. The Toxic Store's got exactly what you need. Pick up some stylish gear featuring Deviant Gamer, Toxic Radio, and the Heavy Metal Happy Hour.
Oh, yeah!
You can find the store through the Toxic Radio app or toxicradio.net. Get in the game.
Do I make you horny, baby?
Get yourself a little love.
That guy's getting boobies.
Yeah, he is.
Toxic Radio and the Toxic Store. Don't buy it safe. Buy it toxic.
In the beginning, there was radio.
The radio is one of the outstanding developments of the 20th century.
A radio transmitter was used for large-scale public entertainment.
Then came computers.
You gotta keep up with the times, you know.
Imprints of man's never-ending path of progress.
Back in my day, we didn't have no fancy computer boxes to use.
Shall we play a game?
The internet tied it all together.
The internet gave us a whole world of exciting new possibilities.
A bright new era dawning, a new dimension in communications.
It is possible to establish communication instantaneously, from any place, at any time.
And now it's the 21st century, and we've made it all toxic.
Hold on to your hats.
Okay, we're ready to roll.
This is Toxic Radio. Don't play it safe. Play it toxic.
That's what I'm talking about.
We are live, hungry for hope. This is Reckless Donnie Hart with my guest.
Guest? Motherfucker. Did you just say guest?
With my co-host.
Big time Tim Conscious. Did he just say guest? You gotta turn that down, champ.
Big time. I'm not the champ no more, big time. Tell the people, welcome the people to the show. Tell them what's going on.
Look, we got a great show ahead of you guys. It's all hungry for hope. We don't have necessarily a guest, but obviously we don't need one. We got a lot.
Hold up, big time. We did have somebody big time. We're starting late because big
time business meetings.
We had a big time business meeting with one person and another person who's, no, if our guests have been the best, but this person was bigger than any guest we had. We had a business meeting and we also had a future guest, but they wanted to talk so much business. They have so many plans that they came and met us before they came on. That is why we are late.
And we just didn't have enough time to talk about it. There was so much going on, so many plans. So many ideas.
What do you think about this, big time? When you decided to start a podcast with some washed up, has-been convict pro wrestler at Toxic Radio, did you ever think you'd be having these business meetings? Did you ever think people from all over the country would be hitting you up? I can't say names, but big time stations, big time companies, big time guests because of you and me?
Well, I mean, I thought so. That's why I was all about putting it together. You just referred to me as a guest, so I don't know. That's maybe why you're surprised.
Big time, I might bust your balls, but I'm not surprised at all. My brother, God bless his soul,
look
who passed
at this
away.
Guy. Look at this. Oh, shit, we are bringing it back.
Got a little surprise for the
ladies and gentlemen. One of the backbones of Hungry for Hope is coming back today. Mike may call the cops. We don't know.
What are you doing here? Hold up, Tim. Tianni the Greek, what are you doing here? Why are you here? We aren't doing your segment today, brother. We got a schedule. We got things going on.
I felt like I needed to make up for all the losing and everything.
There was a lot of that.
To kind of try to make amends here.
What do you got here?
With well, let's
You got to talk into Mike, Yanni.
I'm sorry. Here I come.
We got Yanni the Greek. We weren't doing his segment today. He was out tailgating the Flyers or some bullshit. I don't know who does that on a Wednesday.
He has a clear drinking problem.
Yanni, you brought me something, and you brought all this supplies. What's going on, brother?
Yeah, well, I am here. Yeah, like I said, I feel bad about all the losing and everything like that. I feel like I need to make amends, so I got you a cheesesteak from Joe's, and the plan here is bringing back dining with Donnie.
Dining with Donnie, the bread and butter that started the show.
I got to tell you, gentlemen, I'm honored.
And we are going to bring Dining with Donnie back. If anybody who's not familiar with Dining with Donnie, come out of that rock you're living under. That was the basis of this show. Coronavirus really kicked us down, but it actually was a blessing because we found out we're pretty damn good at this podcast thing. And,
I helped out a lot of people through.
Like I said, I can't sing or dance, but I can talk bullshit on a microphone. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Right, so it's a little bit of a different Dining with Donnie, right? We're going to do this Corona-friendly, right? We have here a trash bag. We got a trash bag here.
Give me it, Yanni.
For everything like that. There you go.
Yanni, you got to talk in the microphone. We're professionals.
I'm trying to set you up with a cheesesteak. I come in here with a cheesesteak. I'm feeding you, and you're giving me attitude.
Well, I mean, you weren't invited. You just showed up with the cheesesteak.
I worked Mike down there. He looked me dead in the face, said, "I know where you live." It was weird. Had a weird sexual energy to it.
You just left the Cuddle Cubs. Told you, we're going to prison.
But here we go. But here we are. So, Donnie, I mean, without further ado,
let me talk. This is huge. Dining with Donnie. All you maniacs have been hitting me up nonstop. They're like, your show's amazing, but you got to eat the cheesesteaks. You got to eat the cheesesteaks. I had even some people involved in the cheesesteak world. What do they call it? The Godfather of Philly cheesesteaks. He's the owner. They hit me up like, when are we going to do this? When are we going to do that? And this Corona stuff really messed us up. We didn't skip a beat, though, me and Tim. We kept on going. But Dining with Donnie kind of skipped a beat. And obviously, Toxic Radio.
More Mike's fault, but yeah.
But, you bust his balls. I might want to sometimes put him in a headlock and show him my body slam and, go back into my wrestling days. But the man has a point. He's getting pretty big time in this thing, and he has to protect everybody. You can't. I'm a maniac. When I eat, I'm everywhere.
But you can't call other people big time. I have that trademark, so please, I don't want to have to sue you.
Yeah, I got the best lawyer in town, brother. That's the only reason I'm here, brother. But Yanni brought some plastic. He brought a cheesesteak from Joe's Cheesesteaks.
Joe's Cheesesteaks.
That's Chinks, right?
Yeah, for a lot of people.
Doesn't know.
For a lot of people don't know, great point. They're Chinks cheesesteaks. They're based out of Northeast. They're originally out of Torresdale Ave. And they do have a place on Girard Ave over, and I guess you call that Fishtown right there. Girard and Frankfurt, I think it is.
Hipster City.
Hipster City. But the original Joe's Steak. People, this cheesesteak. It's a great cheesesteak to bring Dining with Donnie back.
We had to bring it back with a bang here,
Top 5 dead or alive.
Joe's
That's
cheesesteak.
just one LP.
We are still waiting.
So we decided Joe's Cheesesteaks. We're announcing the top 5 next week, and we didn't. Joe's Cheesesteaks. What do you call that? A bubble team, Yanni? Right? A bubble team.
Gotcha.
Joe's was a bubble, and we have Joe's, and we have one other that are fighting for that 5th spot.
It's a regular slobber knocker.
So next week, we will have the other cheesesteak fighting for the top 5 cheesesteaks in Philadelphia. This is a thing where I'm telling you, I've had professional eaters. I had reporters, big-time food people from across the country reach out to me. I'm like, what are they reaching out to me for? They're like, this Dining with Donnie thing. It's like, you're like Anthony Bourdain, but, you drink a little more.
And alive.
Then don't go there. And I'm like, what are you talking about? They're like, oh, you ate them 3 cheesesteaks in one day, and you did it 5 more days after that. I'm like, I just like cheesesteaks, brother. But for whatever reason, and that was kind of what started this crazy journey we're on that has turned into this madness of Hungry for Hope. It was us eating cheesesteaks, and fuck it. We're going to ride this fucking bull until it goes to the ground, brother. Giddy up! Giddy up! Giddy up! Giddy up! Giddy up! Giddy up!
Or until Mike kicks us out for whatever that just was.
Nah, we'll just tie him up again. It's fine.
So, Dining with Donnie is back on Hungry for Hope. I'm probably talking real loud on this microphone, but I'm sorry.
He doesn't know how to control his own voice. Hold on, let me get into an introduction for this, right? It's been a while. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, being graced in your presence is the return of the franchise of Hungry for Hope. One of the main reasons it's here, one of the things the fans want to see, they're clamoring. We're getting calls, emails every week, except for Mike was kind of cock-blocking us the whole time. It is the return. With Joe's Cheesesteaks, a.k.a. Chinks, dining with... Oh, my voice just cracked like a little fucking kid there. That was embarrassing. Oh, Donnie!
You know, if you didn't point it out, you could have just moved right through it.
Yanni, you're Yanni the Greek. You do sports. Let me do the cheesesteaks, brother.
I'm talking about the introduction.
It smells fucking delicious.
I know.
So here we go. We have a top 4 already. We've been working on this, but we're looking for the number 5. And just because you're number 5, it doesn't mean you can't win. We're just looking for 5, and then we're going to come to 3, right? And then we're going to find the 1. But this thing's about to get big.
But top 5 cheesesteaks in Philadelphia, regardless. That's like, if you're in the top 5, you're...
I honestly, for me, these cheesesteaks, a 5 can win. You know, you've seen it. You've seen it March Madness in basketball. A 5 can knock off a 1.
I've never actually seen a 5 win.
Yeah, so we're going to have... How we're doing it...
Man, it's a classic.
How we're doing it is we're having a top 5 cheesesteaks. Joe's is on the bubble. We have another cheesesteak coming next week. That will decide if it's better and who gets number 5. We're going to do number 5 versus number 2. Number 3 versus number 4. Number 1 gets the bye. And, you know, in a couple weeks, we're going to have the number 1 cheesesteak in Philly. And we're doing some great stuff with some big cheesesteak guys in Philly. And for whatever reason, they want us around. I don't know why.
They're dumb.
You know, whatever. But you can't say no. So here's Joe's. Let me look at it. It's whiz with, you know, we got fried onions, we got cheese whiz.
Classic.
This place, let me. They were called Chink Steaks, like Tim said.
They were the big name.
They were a big name, and then they had to change the name. You know how times are. People said Chinks was offensive. Chink Steak. They were offensive. They didn't do it because it was offensive. It was just, you know, somebody's nickname or whatever. Yeah. They started. We're actually going to talk to them and, you know, let them tell the story if they make it into the top 5. All the top 5 cheesesteaks, we will have people from them talking about it. So we'll find out why, if they make it.
They should have named it a Philadelphia cheesesteak place.
But they changed it from Chinks to Joe's. So
Get
now,
it because the Redskins? Get it?
Well,
Get it?
A lot of people don't know that Joe's is Chinks on Torresdale Ave, and they're also on Girard. But I'm telling you, this bread, just from it, the bread looks fresh. They threw some cheese whiz on here.
That's what it's all about.
The fried onions, you know, they're there. You know, let me eat. Let me try to, you know, stay sanitary for Corona stuff. I don't want the other great shows on here like Fishman, who's on every Saturday. Oh, man, that's a great show. Heavy metal, man. Every Saturday you can listen to Brian Fishman. He's awesome, but I don't want him, you know, coming in and seeing my cheese all over his mic, if you know what I mean.
I would put it on there for Deviant Gamer, real piece of shit host.
Mike, when's Fishman's show on? Let me tell everybody Fishman's show before I eat this. He's a stand-up guy. He's a class act.
Fishman shows every Saturday night from 7 to 10. Heavy Metal Happy Hour with the Fishman live. He plays all the best metal from your hair days to today. That is the Heavy Metal Happy Hour every Saturday, only on Toxic Radio. Download the free app.
The guy's a pioneer in this community, this podcast and radio stuff. He's actually a teacher at Connecticut School of Broadcasting. Yanni the Greek is a graduate of that. Our other guest, Rashawn Bass, Minority vs. Predator, he was a graduate of that. Me and Tim, we didn't graduate.
We didn't graduate from shit.
From nothing. We just stumbled, fell, and they're like, oh, these maniacs can talk.
Mike, did anybody ever tell you have a face for radio?
Yes, my parents.
But, yeah, can't say enough about Fishman. He always supports us. he's a great guy to talk to. He's the one, he really told us in the beginning, like, hey, you assholes got something here. And that kind of like, I was ready to, call quits after episode 1. I was like, what is this? And he where it got back, and he's very supportive, and we can't thank him enough. I'm going to dedicate this cheesesteak to Fishman. Nice. Let me get a bite. I got to get away, Tim. You watch me. You get the detail on everything. I don't want to get anything on the mic.
We're just going to keep talking about fish here while Donnie's taking a bite here. He is very supportive, and he really has an eye for talent. Fish does. He's been doing this radio thing his whole life. He's a professional, and he definitely knows what he's talking about. So getting noticed by him, you guys certainly stood out in some way.
Donnie's really enjoying himself here.
Yeah, I'm letting him get the taste.
So shout out to our listeners. Actually, probably first time listener Adam Lavelle. He's got a very good, great wrestling podcast on MLW. Got a couple other different ones going on Japan wrestling, stuff like that. It's definitely something. The wrestling snob, and he is the wrestling snob. But I agree with most of his points.
Tim, this cheesesteak was great.
Are you okay?
You brought up a great point with Adam. We talked about him. We saw him online. He has a lot of things we think, I'm an ex-wrestler, but now I look back in it, and I hate these jabroni wrestlers, these people who disrespect the sport. I'm still swallowing my cheesesteak, but...
When you wrestle an inflatable doll, essentially.
These guys, they disrespect the sport. I noticed this guy because what he was saying, it made sense. I was trained by Pretty Boy Larry Sharp, the real Monster Factory. The real. Not that jabroni who calls himself the Monster Factory, Danny Cage. Clown, bozo, stole the shit.
Shots fired.
Stole the shit from Pretty Boy Larry Sharp. That's facts. These people we'll get into that later. We got to do the cheesesteak thing. What the wrestling snob says, really, I like it, man, because he speaks the truth, man. There's a lot of clowns who aren't trained. They're wearing T-shirts. They're out of shape. And they're, they start their own company. They put the belt on them. They're jabronis, but we'll get to that later.
It's kind of like Jim Cornette. Like, they promote the sport of professional wrestling, not the horseshit wrestle an invisible man or inflatable doll side of professional wrestling.
But, me being out of wrestling right now, I can call them out, and I can smack these guys if I see them in person, because I don't give a shit anymore.
I'll smack Joey Janela tomorrow on a Showboat Boardwalk.
Anybody who disrespects something I gave my whole life for, I don't have no time for them. But let's get back to this amazing cheesesteak.
So tell us about it.
This is in the final.
What a transition.
For the top 5.
Fuck segues.
We have no idea what we're doing. We don't do radio. We didn't go to your fancy school.
Went to a school of broadcasting. You're sitting on the couch, pussy.
I don't know how to do this, Tianni. I just can be me.
Watch your mouth over there if we're talking smacking each other. All right, here we go.
So here we go, guys. This is Joe's Steaks. Everybody heard. Northeast Philly, Torresdale. We're doing the Dining with Donnie top 5 cheesesteaks. This is trying to fight for number 5. We already got 4, and we have 2. Next week, we're going to announce the top 5. We're going to have one more coming in, and we have some cool stuff lined up. And this cheesesteak, it's the real deal, man. I think they get so much not credit because they're not chinks anymore. The times we live in, they couldn't call it chinks for whatever reason. And people forget. The bread is great. The backbone of all good cheesesteaks, Tim. The backbone.
The bread.
The bread. You can't have a good cheesesteak without the bread. You can have the best sandwich. Meat, the best cheese. Yanni, you're in the food industry. If anybody don't know, Yanni's big time in the food industry.
We'll give you his address later so you can follow up.
He's big time in it. He supplies a lot of these companies. If you don't have a good bread, if I feel that bread, it's just not. If I look at it, I taste it. It's over from there. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like in pro wrestling. If you look like a slob, you can have the best technical skills. You can be great on the mic. But, if you don't look the part.
Like if you wear a T-shirt.
Yeah, if you wear a T-shirt. And, a lot of these guys aren't even. If you don't look the part, you come out of shape, no athletic background.
Well, you can get hit with a light tube.
Yeah, This is that. The bread has to be great.
Firing shots.
The bread has to be great.
So, Amorosa bread.
Amorosa bread's great. We're going to really get into all the breads, but the meat, they put tons on. If you guys can see here, Toxic Mike, they put a good amount, a healthy amount of meat in there. The Cheese Whiz is what we go with. They put a lot of Cheese Whiz. They got the fried onions in. We actually got one of these ordered for our one guest, Louis Sanchez.
Yeah, a.k.a.
Yeah, Hazel.
Yeah.
He came in here, local guy from Philly, good guy, good family guy. He had corona, and he told me when he was in the hospital fighting corona
and pneumonia at the same time.
They gave him 20% chance of living. He's like, you know what I was thinking? I'm on my deathbed, and all I could think of is freaking Donnie eating cheesesteaks. And I was like, why didn't I eat more cheesesteaks? So he got out. He came on the show, and I ordered him and his family, who all got corona too. His daughter and his mom, great people.
God, if I'm on my deathbed, I hope Donnie isn't the last thought that comes into my head.
But I ordered them cheesesteaks, and they weren't too happy with them. They took a while. I had ordered through a service and everything. But these are good cheesesteaks. Joe's cheesesteaks could be in the top 5. We will announce our top 5 next week. We'll have one more live in studio. I'm going to finish this.
All right,
Tim and
so
Yanni.
We got 3 of us real quick, right? I want to take a vote. Raise your hand if you think mayo is okay on cheesesteaks. All right, so we're all in agreement.
Well, now we're all Philly guys here. I think we understand what to do with a cheesesteak.
Yeah. You don't disgrace it.
You don't need to add anything to a cheesesteak. Forget your ketchup and everything like that. No. They give it to you, you eat it. That's
clearly,
how it goes.
We need to bring Jamie back because Mike's over there raising his hand. Disrespectful.
Mike, how are we doing so far on the cleanliness factor?
You guys are doing great on the cleanliness.
Real quick, lick the microphone, Donnie.
Don't
lick it.
Do not
lick the microphone.
That is not corona friendly. I don't think that has been cleared by the CDC. I'd appreciate no licking of the microphone. And no, you guys are doing great.
Speaking of licking microphones, can we just say F Brett Brown?
Oh my God. Yeah. Well, listen. Not to dance.
Well, Donnie's chilling. He's having a tough time over there. Getting old.
Yeah. Well,
the floor is yours.
Listen now. Not to dance on the guy's grave, but this was a long time coming.
I'll crip walk on his grave.
He should have absolutely been let go last year. It is finally over. Now the search for the new coach begins, and you're looking for a coach that's going to challenge good players to be great. That's all what we talk about in sports all the time, right? Going good to great. You guys talk about it with the podcast and everything like that. I mean, that's what people are doing.
It was like literally the first time when I seen a coach get fired, I started doing the Macarena right off as soon as it was crazy.
Yeah, they made you sweat it out a little bit. Wait until like 5 p.m. the next day, but we all knew it was coming. It's again, good riddance.
They should have put a line on that, huh?
He seems to be a decent human being, but as a basketball coach or as a basketball head coach, he just flat out couldn't cut it. Yes, he was handed a pretty big mess that he had to dig ourselves out of, but at the end of the day, he had 2 superstar players that he just didn't get the most out of.
That acted like children.
Sure, and you know what? I mean, they are children.
He
they are children.
Encouraged them of acting like children.
Yeah.
What about Elton Brown? He's still surviving somehow.
Elton Brown, yeah, and he'll probably stay through the next offseason here. You hope that Ben and Joel are enough to entice a free agent to come over, but
trade it. They're not Philly material.
I think we already know that the 2 of them alone are not enough to entice a big-time free agent.
They're not built Philly.
I mean,
Embiid, look at the podcast he was on with JJ Redick, right? For example, he's like, I didn't care halfway through the season because what things played out with Jimmy Butler and JJ Redick. Like, you're not built for the city, cuz. Go somewhere else. You're not going to win us championships. You're soft.
I've always had a problem with his effort. I don't know if it's his effort because I don't think it's an effort problem. I think it's a wind problem. I think he's never taken his conditioning seriously. I think he just kind of relies and has relied on being bigger, more athletic, and better than most people around him. But in the fourth quarter, when your conditioning is what matters, that's when you kind of see him, hands on the hip, breathing heavy.
I don't like to use
like Donnie was after that cheesesteak.
I don't like to use soft as a pillow for professional athletes, right? But,
at least up here.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Joel Embiid has the talent and ability to be the best basketball player like we've ever seen.
You guys brought up a good point. I've been talking to some of our good viewers, Danny Diamond and AJ, Adam Joseph, and we're at a disagreement. Some of us. Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler was the guy we got rid of, and I see. You say you don't see the effort from Embiid. I don't see it in him or Ben Simmons. And I saw it in Butler. Like, Butler's been on, my buddy was saying Butler's been on 4 teams. How can he be good? He gets tossed from team to team. Well, this is what I have to say to this. Jimmy Butler came from the gutter. Like this show, we came from the gutter. Jimmy Butler, you know how he made his way to the NBA? He was homeless. Homeless at 13. You know what his mother said? Imagine being a 13-year-old. If anybody don't know Jimmy Butler, he was a Philadelphia 76er. We got rid of him. He didn't want to be here. He told us he didn't want to be here.
Yeah, that's all you had to know about how this year was going to go.
And he went to the Miami Heat. A horrible team.
I would take my take.
And right now, the Miami Heat just swept. Swept meaning you won all 4 games and they're in the second round of the playoffs. They did it with nobody.
Yeah. Against a Pacers team that flat embarrassed the Sixers on
absolutely. So this Jimmy Butler, 13, we're hungry for hope on this show. I don't care if you're a basketball fan. You don't know have to know who Jimmy Butler is.
Jimmy Butler hungry for championship,
for our
Joe.
fans. Jimmy Butler was homeless at 13. Do you know why he was homeless? His dad was out of the picture. His mother looked at him. She said, I just don't like you anymore. I don't like how you look. I don't want you. Could you imagine being a 13-year-old? He grew up in Texas. Get out of here. A 13-year-old, where do you go? He slept on couches. He lived on the street at 13 years old. This guy, no child should ever have to go through that. No child. We made mistakes as adults. We went through what we did as adults. But
we
children,
made those decisions.
We made them. Children made no decisions. He found a family that they took him in, but still, he started playing basketball. That was his outlet. Sometimes even me going through my stuff, you find that outlet. You find that outlet to take all that negative and bad stuff going on, and you put it towards something. Jimmy Butler put it towards basketball. Let's be honest, the dude had no background in it. He wasn't impressive. And his senior year, he was MVP of his team, but he had zero scholarships to big-time schools. Nobody wanted him. The dude was homeless at the time. A family took him in. But he was nobody. He had nothing. But he saw this basketball, and he said, I love this. I love this. This could be what can take me out of this. Obviously, he was living, but he didn't like where he was. But he said, how can I get out of this spot? Just like me and Tim. We were at our rock bottoms, Some of the, this show, we got a lot of smiles and laughs, but this show started from our rock bottoms 5 years ago.
It might be funny now. We weren't back then.
Yeah, we laugh. It's funny, but this show did not start with laughs. And, we don't like to get into that, but that's where Jimmy Butler started. So people say, why do you like this guy? He started from nothing. And you realize the NBA, you only start 5 guys in NBA. So all the guys in the NBA, they're guys who've been... What, Yanni? They've been the number 1 guy since they were in 6th grade.
Actually, I think I heard it on the post-game show yesterday. Only 5,000 people in the history of the NBA have played in the NBA. 5,000 total.
5,000.
And
all them guys were guys who've been told since they were like in 6th grade that they were the best. Guys who were 13 were ranked number 1. When Jimmy Butler was 13, he was homeless. His mother said, I don't like you, leave. He had no father. Senior year in high school, things got a little better. He had no scholarships. Guys like Embiid, they were the number 1 recruits in the country. Ben Simmons, they said the next best thing. These guys were, everybody came to them. They gave them stuff. They paid for stuff. They catered to these guys. Jimmy Butler went to a junior college. Junior college. Some people go to junior colleges because big-time programs say, go here, get your grades up, and we'll bring. No, he didn't go there. It was the only person that would take him. He was with guys who were just playing for fun, guys who were backups on their high school teams. And he went there, but he had that mentality like, I don't like where I'm at. I want to get out of it. I'm going to do whatever it takes. So they would say they would have practice. They would have practice at I think 6 a.m. at junior college. He would show up at 3. And because he just wanted to be that much better. He had nothing else going on in his life. He said, you know, a junior college guy who nobody sent to junior college, who just went on his own, like, that's the end of the road. You do like 2 years.
You're probably not thinking about the NBA.
You're not going nowhere. You're not even in D3. You're in you're at the lowest of the low. It's unheard of. Unheard of in the NBA. Well, somehow a scout came out from Marquette for somebody else, not for Jimmy Butler. Nobody knew who Jimmy Butler was. But he had that drive, that same drive I saw in Tim when I decided, hey, I'm going to do a podcast with this asshole. I'm very in particular about who I start anything with, business. I do a lot of stuff. But he had that same drive. That drive, all of our viewers, anybody going through hard times, he had that drive, and he said, you know what? I might have been through shit, man. My mom might have gave up on me. I might not have a dad. But I believe in myself. And by the grace of God, the Marquette coach looked at him and saw it. He took over the program, and he said, I can build a team around this guy. Nobody else in the country knew who he was. This Marquette guy.
It just goes to show.
That's what he said.
Well, one of our listeners just commented. He said, hard work beats talent.
Absolutely. Every time.
Hard work beats talent.
Thank you, Angelo.
Angelo, hard work, Inky. Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard.
That's right.
That's how I played my career, my everything. But, this is why people are like, Donnie, why are you so... Because sometimes I see Jimmy Butler in me. I see him in us in our show. So he went to Marquette, which is a pretty decent basketball program, and he didn't do nothing crazy right away. He rode the bench a little, and he showed up 3 hours before everybody for practice, and he stayed 3 hours late. And he was going to say, hey, he wasn't the most talented guy. God did not gift Jimmy Butler with the stuff he gifted Embiid. It just didn't happen.
Butler went out and earned that.
Nowhere near.
You look at him now.
No.
You look at him now. He's a pretty physically.
You can't look at him now.
But like
he back then at Marquette, he was nobody.
He's a skinny little guy.
But he refused.
No muscle tone.
So you have these guys Embiid who they go to these big time schools and they're like, oh, I can only practice half the time because I'm so good. This guy's like, I'm going to practice triple the time because I'm not as good. And eventually, in life, in anything in life, if you had that kind of attitude, what did he start doing, Tianni? Tianni the Greek, he started passing people. He went from maybe the 500 best college player to 450. Not good. You figure how many like 64 get drafted or something, 60?
60 get drafted every year. So.
And, he went from that to, 300. And he kept on getting better. So you're thinking, hold up, all these guys with this amazing skill, these guys who were born, God graced them with all this skill. And this dude who was homeless, no scholarships, is getting better. And he got better. And he got better. And then...
Wait, did he get better after that?
And he got better.
You could even argue he may be still getting better now.
He gets better every goddamn year. The NBA draft came around, and he went 30th. Some people think 30th, that's good. No, that's like getting drafted like 4th round of the NFL draft. Yeah. 30th was a smack to his face. And he went to the Chicago Bulls, and he didn't kill it the first year. But you know what he did? He showed up before everybody. He stayed later than everybody. In his second year, they're like, who the hell is this guy? I'll tell you who this guy is. This is a guy who believed in himself. When he was at his rock bottom, like Tim was at his rock bottom, when I was at my rock bottom, he believed in himself. He knew the only person who was going to get me out of these horrible times, this homelessness, coming from a family, drugs, violence, everything, sleeping on couches, not having a home, having a mother who told you she don't want to see you at 13. He believed in himself. Everybody out there, look at Jimmy Butler. Look at yourself. Believe in yourself. Jimmy Butler, you know who he is today? A lot of you guys don't know Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler just took a Miami Heat team.
Miami Heat.
They swept a team in the playoffs. That's an amazing feat.
Like a broom.
He beat them in 4 games.
It's just 4.
They're going to the second round.
It's supposed to be 7.
But everybody's kind of upset. They're like, this guy's gone to 4 teams, and everybody gets rid of him. Because you know why? He goes to these teams with guys like we have. The Sixers have these Ben Simmons. These guys have been pampered their whole life.
Doesn't fit in.
So could you imagine being a guy who was homeless?
Just like a dog like that. And
they're not built Philly tough.
Yeah.
This guy appreciates where he's at. Like me, every day getting on this radio, I appreciate this more than anybody ever knows. The fact that people listen to what I have to say. I go home. It's amazing. I think in my spare time, how can I make this better? I'm blessed just for this freaking stupid podcast that people listen to from across the country.
But whatever.
You know, but people, I get calls from all over the country. I get people and they're like, your podcast is like blowing up. And I'm just like sitting here like, I'm so grateful. And you know what I do? I go home, I call Tim, I call Toxic Mike, I call Tianni the Greek. How can we make this better? How can we make this better?
Really,
just homework.
He calls me and curses at me like nonstop. It's very uncomfortable. He's really aggressive.
And it doesn't turn off either. I mean, you're at the bar. We're talking about this, guest. We're at the next bar, right? It's what about this kind of segment, that kind of stuff. It's really
the Uber ride over here.
Thing.
He looks at me and he's like, "Put down your phone."
Because that's how I feel. And I feel like the guys around me feel that way. And sometimes I got to uplift you. Because, I've been.
Uplifter. Yeah.
I haven't been that 13-year-old homeless who got kicked out. But I've been on that prison floor. Ex-professional wrestler who lost it all, man. I had my dream in my hands. And nobody else, I fucked it up. I messed it up. I lost it all. And I sat on that floor and you're sitting there after you lose it all, and you can only think horrible things like, should I end this? You're thinking things that aren't good. Is life worth going on? And for whatever reason, I got back up and I said, I'm not done. I'm not done. When Tim was out there on them streets in Kensington, Tim got up. I had no idea who he was. Same year. He got back up, and for whatever reason, so many people haven't.
But see, Donnie, we're built Philly tough, unlike Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid.
Yeah,
getting back
honestly,
to it,
man.
Honestly,
we've been through, trials and tribulations, and like I tell everybody, I turned tragedy into triumph, and I don't know what got me off that prison floor. I lost everything, my family, my friends, my fiance. I was in a dark spot. I lost my dream. Could you imagine, like, your whole life you wanted to be something, you got there, and then you blew it, and you can't blame it on anybody but you?
Yeah, it's like in a couple weeks when you kick me off the podcast.
But, I mean, fortunately for you got these friends now.
Yeah.
Not really Mike so much, but, like, us.
The worst part, at first you want to blame things, but, like, when I finally had that moment with myself, and I said, like, I'm the guy to blame, man. And things happen in my life. You can say my brother died, this happened. Horrible things happen. Don't get me wrong. But at the end of the day, I was the person who was my downfall. So I said, hey, if I can be my downfall, why can't I be the person who picks myself up and goes up?
Well, one thing I learned early on when turning my life around, right? You have to find your place in the thing. There's so many people that are easily able to get sucked into, like, woe is me. This is happening to me. This is affecting me because of this. Outside influences. But even in my job daily, if my team that I lead doesn't do that good, that's on me. Like, there's things I have to dive down deep and figure out what I did wrong, or what I might have mistaken. Before it was just like, oh, this is happening because this or this or this. No, it's you fucking take accountability for yourself and you move on.
Accountability, man. That's the best word.
It's what you guys are talking about. It's looking internally, and it's what can I fix about myself. Now, I haven't been through the kind of stuff you guys have been through. I could never imagine.
Well, you got the ugly face.
What it was like for you. I know that has been a struggle, for my entire life, but I've just started to, get past it. But no, anything you want to fix about yourself, whether you have some sort of an issue with, substances or a gambling issue or something like that. I don't know. The first person that's going to help you through it is yourself. You got to make that decision that this isn't who I'm going to be anymore, and until you have that real conversation with yourself, the healing won't start.
Right. You can't just be like, oh, it's outside influences that are causing me to do bad. Like, I can, and it's easy to default to that. That's the crazy part. It's easy to be like, at work, oh, there's not enough people coming in. Oh, there's not enough this going in. But then when you have to look deep inside, it's like, what am I doing wrong that kind of pushed us back from what we were doing previous months or previous years, so to speak? Yeah. It's, you have to take that opportunity to look deep down inside and be like, you know,
whether it's your fault or not.
I'm sure there's things you could blame outside any day of the week. But most of the thing is based on you. You got to find out what you need to fix within you. And it's the same thing with staying sober. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing of anything else that consistently holds you down. You have to find, you got to look deep inside. You got to block it all out, look deep inside, and just be like, what do I need to fix?
I mean, one of the most extreme examples we had on the show last week, Frank Mink. I mean,
right.
Think about the transition that he had to make from what he grew up, doing and what, those influencers doing. And it was himself that took him out of that mindset of hate and, switched it to serving people.
How crazy
he had to make that decision.
He went from, Johnny, you brought up a great point. He literally, he was, to say the nicest way, he was a neo-Nazi skinhead leader, the East Coast leader. He had his own show about hate. He went to jail based on hate. He was a guy who they made a movie, American History X, based on his hate. He was filled with it. He came from a broken home, though. He could have made all them excuses. He came from a horrible, no children should have had to go through that, just like Butler should have had. But he didn't use that as an excuse. Oh. He realized, and now he went from this neo-Nazi leader. I'm not just saying he was some racist dude in the neighborhood. I'm saying he was the speaker for a movement of neo-Nazis who hated people who weren't like them. And now he travels the world. He gets paid to speak on how
about inclusion,
about,
those kind of things.
Would you say he spreads like what we're hungry for?
Absolutely. The Flyers reached out to him and started Harmony Through Hockey. That program was enormous. For the Philadelphia Flyers to reach out to a skinhead, a former skinhead. Could you imagine? They
sounds made up, but
like the Flyers are a big-time billion-dollar company. And they can't just go at, they had to really look at him and say, this dude's the real deal. Like, there's so many people out there who try to say, hey, I did this and now I'm better. But I feel like I told Frank, I'm an expert just from being around the block at looking at people and telling if they're really about what they say they're about. And Frank, he was about what he was about, man. I read his book when I was in one of my hardest times. I was locked up. And, things weren't easy. And I came across this book, You Can Believe in a Higher Power. I don't know how this book came to me. And I saw it, and all I saw, South Philly on the back. He was from South Philly. And they had this big skinhead picture, and I was like, what is this? And it was a autobiography of a recovering skinhead by Frankie Mink. And I read it. And it really, I wasn't a recovering skinhead, but I felt his pain, man.
Yeah.
I was a guy who,
at its core, it's a story about changing yourself, right?
Yeah.
How much of a difference does it make, right? You've been through it, especially. How much of a difference does it make hurting people to helping people?
Dude,
it's like I can't even explain it. Words can't explain it.
Like Frank hurt, he might have hurt minorities in his group. He might have did that. I hurt, the worst part, I hurt the ones I love. That's the worst part. Like all the stuff I did, they said, Donnie, you're going to jail for life. Donnie, you're, on these murder blocks, you're never going to see freedom. And me, I was like, okay, but the only thing I was thinking of, these people who love me, these family members, these friends who stood by my, like, how did I let them down? Right. That's who you're thinking.
But my life changed when you can make this way. And now, don't get me wrong, like, started AA program, stuff like that, and I learned different basics of how to live life. Like, I was just used to being a piece of shit, and then I learned different principles to, like, just try to change your life. And one of the biggest things was you were so selfish for so long. Give back to other people. Help help other people and you'll help yourself. And I didn't understand it at first, and then I started helping every chance I got. No matter what I had to put on the line, no matter what it cost me, I helped everybody. Help. And it changed the way I thought about life. Right?
I mean, you can find that concept in just about like so many different topics. I mean, philosophy, like those kind of, like I read.
Now I thought about myself. Thanks, Johnny.
I read about some like leadership stuff for like work and that kind of stuff, or even management stuff. And what do they all say? Right? Serve your employees, serve other people.
What's it called? Service leadership, basically.
Exactly. Yeah, the serving leader, those kind of things. I mean, all of them have that same theory, right? All these different kind of topics that don't really relate to each other all go back to serve others.
And it changes your life.
Yeah.
Like, look at Donnie. I'm going to speak for it because he probably wouldn't say it himself, but every chance that we got, and we didn't get to do it because of the coronavirus, but he would be hitting me up every day like, yo, let's go feed the homeless, let's go do this and that. And it was just in that short period of time of the coronavirus where we couldn't execute it. But that was one of the biggest things. Like, you could just tell. It was just, let's just help people. Let's just help people. Let's just help people. And that's what it's all about. That's what Hungry for Hope's all about, is changing from being negative and fucking trying to hurt people to just being like, anything we can do to help you, to make everybody the next best person that we can make them.
I don't want to, I don't want people to look at us. Some people say, oh, Donnie, your life's so great. I still want to bring, Tim, you brought up a great point. People look and they're like, oh, you're so perfect. You figured it all out. I didn't. Sometimes I'm embarrassed because I've worked on myself so much, but there are times that I'm embarrassed. I'm not where I want to be, but I'm so much better. There are times where I go back to the old Donnie, not too long ago, I bring up a story. It's embarrassing. I was in a line. I don't want to say the place, but I guess I was over at the haunted house over in Eastern State Penitentiary, and I paid extra money. I brought a girl. We were having a thing, and we were in line. We're waiting in line, and somebody cut in line. And I'm living this life where I'm supposed to be this person who I don't do violence. I came in line. This guy got in line in front of me, and I'm with my girl at the time, and I said, yo, bud, you cut in front of me in line. I'm not trying to be, I used to be a bad dude back in the day. I did a lot of bad things. I hurt a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, you're kind of small
shed a lot
right
of
now.
Blood.
So.
I had a lot of violence. That was one of my problems. I took my violence out on people. I hurt a lot of people. But all them people I hurt myself more. So this guy, I'm trying. I'm working this. This was a little bit ago. This wasn't now. And he got in front of me and he said, yeah, I'd like to see you do something about it. And that old Donnie came back and I did something about it. And people are, yeah, that's awesome. This guy, no, it wasn't. There's blood and, I hurt him and I was scared this wasn't me. I cracked him upside his fucking head, Tim. And I wasn't proud of that. People were like, oh, yeah, you're the man,
fair,
Donnie.
To be fair, if you're cutting in line, I mean, you're kind of asking for it.
No, but, I'm better than that today. The dude's, he's out cold. And he was a big dude, bigger than me. And he asked for it, and I gave it to him. But that's what I'm just saying. I'm not perfect.
Well, there was a situation the other day, right? So I'm walking in a Wawa in Philly. I'm not going to say which Wawa, but whatever it might be. I'm walking into it, and I'm just like, first off, I see the person sitting outside, and I'm like, there's no other parking spot. I got to pull in front of it. Get into the car. He tries to ask me for money. I walk in, and I just ignore him. Go about my business, get my sandwiches. I'm walking out. Says something again, and at that point, I'm kind of just like, fuck off, right? Like, stop asking me for shit. And I get to my car, open the door, and I just put my head down. I'm like, yo. Fucking, what? I don't even know how many years ago at this point. 5 years ago, this was me. And I just grab every one or quarters I had, and I just apologize to him. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I shouldn't have acted that way. Here you go. I hope you have a great day. And went on my way. And I could have ruined the rest of my day just by being like, I told that guy to fuck off. I would have thought I was cool for a second. I would have drove down the street and been like, I'm a huge piece of shit. But I had the opportunity that hit me at that time to just be like, no, you gotta fucking turn it around. And I don't say that to take pride in myself, because I still called it, like, basically treated dude like a piece of shit. Like, that's not prideful. I tried to make it right. But you just got to think about it. Like, put yourself in that position at all times. Help people. Just do it. If you can, it'll make your life a lot better.
It's a great
point. About empathy, man.
We had a great meeting. We met with 2 people today. One's a big-time business owner. Another's a pretty big-time guy. He's all over the world. Our guests have been great, like I said, but he would be by far the biggest guest. And he's a guy who really looks into things. He wanted to talk to us before he came on the show, and he was all about it. We're going to be having him on the show soon, and we're going to be doing something with the other guy, too, who's a big-time business owner. These guys they came and found us. Could you imagine, what kind of people are like, oh, let me go find this guy who lived in Kensington and this guy who, fucked up a pro wrestling career and went to jail. Well, they had to see something in us, right?
I think it's different because people look at and they're like, all right, there's people that do podcasts and do this stuff for fun. There's people that do it to make money. We're doing it in turn, or at least we're trying to, and doing our best effort and just helping people.
We've helped so many, man. So many people reach out to me and they're like, your stories have helped.
And if you reach out, we will do our best to help. It's not we're just bragging about we'll help people.
No.
If
you're hungry, we'll go feed you. If you're hard on your rent, we'll find a way to help you.
If your kids don't have clothes, just hit us up.
Hit us up. We do this. We don't talk about it. We do it.
Now more than ever, people want to listen to people that have been through what they've been through, right? I mean, you see it in every walk of life. They'd rather listen to their peers rather than some, one who's been there or whatever, right? But so for you guys to be able to share your story with everybody and be so open about it too. I mean, you guys don't hide from any detail of it. You know what I mean? It's a big time help for that person who is going through something, to hear that and see that the result can be, a positive one.
And Yanni, it's not easy. People see these smiles and they see, oh, Tim and Donnie, they're doing all this stuff. We have amazing jobs and businesses and careers and all this great stuff. But no, man, it wasn't. The first step I took was, I just had to put my stuff out there. And it's embarrassing saying, hey, a guy who had his dream and I blew it because of me.
It's not over yet, Bob.
But, that wasn't easy because not just for me, it brings up the skeletons for family and friends, and I don't want to have to go through it. So it was hard, and I just said, somebody said the greatest thing to me. They're like, Donnie, your story can help one person. One person, they might live. They might not go through what you did if you're willing to talk. And you think it's easy, but, it wasn't easy coming up and saying, hey, I fucked up, man. My dream was to be a professional wrestler, and through the grace of a guy like Pretty Boy Larry Sharp, they gave it to me, and he gave me the keys to the Ferrari, like I like to say, and I crashed that Ferrari, and then I burned it, and then I came back and I pissed on the ashes, and it's funny now, but it was could you imagine? It's so close to your dream. It's almost better if I never. Some people say, wouldn't you be happier if you never got that chance? Then you got it and you blew it. Like all the magazines, people forget. When I was in pro wrestling, they're like, this is the next big thing. All he has to do is, nothing, and he's going to be the next big thing. And I blew it. For whatever reason, things happen. But at the end of the day, I'm the only guy. You can call other people out, but I take full responsibility. And today, I'm fixing them wrongs. I'm ready to do something bigger.
And just because we're talking about it, we dug deep into this topic, one of the main reasons I'm still here is because of family, right? Most people would have gave up on you. Most people would have quit you. My mom, Jackie, my dad, Terrence, my grandma, my grandpa, my uncle, and his wife, my Aunt Danielle. That main focus is what kept me alive. Those people dug me out of every fucking hole. Every hole. And you can't be grateful enough for it because every time that I fell into that hole, they were there to pull me back. And it's just, always be there to support your people, man. They might fall off. They might have a problem. But be there, pick them back up when they fall. And that's the most important part.
That's a part of the human race that we're getting further and further away from, man. The fact that we need to pick each other up, and that's enough of that isn't happening around the world. I mean, forget just in the country, and that's what we're getting away from.
Good people make bad decisions. They really do. There are some people out there who are scumbags, and they're going to do scumbag things, and they're horrible people. But really, before, hearing stories about looking, there are good people. Tim is a good guy. I feel it took me a while to realize, I was a good guy who made some bad decisions. That doesn't make you a bad person. So anybody going out there, if you were down, let's just, we're talking about this. Let's end this whole hope. If you're down, if you're out, you heard our stories, man. I was given the keys to my dream, man. And, I went from, moments away from WWE contract to being, sitting in a jail cell, lost everything, facing life in prison. It was the worst day, man. I wanted to die every day. I was too scared to die. And thank God, I was just too scared to end it. And whatever thing, I got back up and I said, I'm worth it. I don't know what brought me up from there, but you're worth it. I am living proof what I've gone through, what Tim's gone through. We're here. Reach out to us. We've been through that war. We've been through that. And my God, today's Tim's life, my life, we talk every day. Our life's amazing. What we do, our jobs, our lives, our families, they're not perfect, but they're amazing. We do some great things.
Yeah, and just for example, keep family close. I have family members that I will probably never ever get the chance to talk to because of my issues back in the day. I have brothers and sisters I've never had the opportunity to meet, talk to, and then at the same time, the sister that was always in my life, and shout out to Katie, you, I wasn't always there for her. I just wasn't. And I wasn't the best brother that I could be. I wasn't the best family member I could be. I wasn't the best person I could be. But there's always time to change. And just make that change. Fucking dig down deep if you have to. There's people you can count on. Just do it. We're going long. I'm sorry.
Tim, we're good. You made some great points.
I'll make fun of Donnie and Tianni next week, and we'll do some more comedy stuff.
Yeah, listen.
You guys want comedy, but we needed hope today. Just remember, this is my segment. Rock bottom does not have to be your ending. It can be your beginning. It can. I don't bullshit. I live it,
Rock bottom's a comeback story, baby. That's how you come back from it.
I'm just a guy who fucked it all up and somehow climbed out of it. And my life today, I don't lie. A lot of these people are frauds. They say they're something they're not. They say I'm this, I'm that. I'm the
pro
real
wrestlers wear t-shirts?
Yeah, we're the real fucking deal. People want to be us, but they can't be us because they haven't seen us. They haven't been through what we...
Did you just fucking quote that James Franco movie?
I'm just saying. Be yourself. Stop trying to be something you're not.
Be James Franco.
Just be who you are. You don't have to, people try to be something they're not. Be who you are. And if you need help, reach out to us, man. I've been around the block. I will help you. I'll do whatever, man.
Yeah, we all will.
I'll do anything I freaking can,
except for
man.
Mike. He just sent me a bill for an extra $20 because we went overtime.
If you're facing rock bottom right now, just look at these.
There's any of us. You go Hungry for Hope. You go Donnie. You go me. You go Tianni.
So guys,
just fucking reach out.
Guys, one of the big time guests, we might have them on next week, and this is a world breaker, a world shaker next week. But regardless, we're going to be dining with Donnie back next week, the top 5 cheesesteaks, and that's going to shake up the world. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Sorry we had to, throw that hope out.
Yeah.
But
next week I'll bust a lot more balls. Love you, everybody.
Love you. Let's go Flyers, baby. Tianni, thanks for coming by, brother.
And Phillies, maybe. Fuck Brett Brown, also.
We're out of here.
Fuck Brett Brown.